Oh, alright. But we didn't even write it. Like, there was no writing poem phase. I don't know, like, where? Oh, okay, I'll just listen to my gut for now. Back to, like, how I used to do it. Like, Monika first, then Yuri last. Oh, we get to read. Reverie. I wake up, cold black night, silent and still. Fall into my knees, splinters in my hand. Dust, dust in the air. Cold. Where am I? I reach for the light I need. Is it there? The switch is pressed. I feel the warmth on my face, in my hands, and my arms, and my... I wake up. It's dark all over. Cold. Silent and numb, I reach my hand out. I have no eyes to see, but I can feel it. I press the switch. The warmth fills me. The dark comes again. I die again. I wake up. Noise in my ears. Voices? Cold. I reach out and feel nothing. Where is it? Wasn't it real? Wasn't it here? Everyone reaches, but nobody can touch it. The dark comes again. We all die again. I wake up. Here again? I just noticed this is actually a Halloween version of the theme music. Oh my... Could I download this? I hope I can. Monika bows a little after she finishes. I'm all over what she's read. I don't really get it. Well, from what I read, I guess it's like same as her old poems. It's like she's stuck in this cold void of a program trying to reach out to us. That sounded something like Yuri would have written. It's Halloween, Sayuri. Oh, is that a bad thing? Of course not. What does reverie mean? I don't think I've heard it before. It's an English word that means something like having a pleasant daydream. But it comes from a French word that means ooh. That's something I've learned today. Appropriate for Halloween, isn't it? Monika's smile is looking a bit more sinister than normal somehow. How cultured. Yuri looks a little distressed at the implication of Nazi's sarcasm and the idea that Monika's poem sounded like something she might have written. Do both meanings relate to the poem? You could say that. What do you mean? It reflects on a blissful act can make the pain go away. For a little while. Oh, I just realized we're not going to share our poem. They'll share their poem. Okay. Well, I've already done it like how I would share my poem, so let's just go with that. Dark. Sometimes I lie. This is actually quite long for a Natsuki poem. Dark. Sometimes I lie awake at night, sitting in a room devoid of light, and think about the monsters waiting in the dark. I can't even imagine what they look like. Sharp claws? A skin lined with spikes? Maybe a mouth that could swallow me whole. Maybe red eyes that could pierce my soul. They could eat me right out if they wanted, yet they wait, waiting for me to close my eyes, waiting for me to dream of the light, waiting for the moment for the perfect strike. But now I'm thinking about the monsters, and I'm still lying awake in the dark. Yeah, I know it's not great. It's actually quite great, like considering you don't write long poems much. Actually, I quite like it, Natsuki. It's pretty obvious that horror is something out of your comfort zone, but you did an exceptional job at combining your style of writing with horror. Fear is a very complex emotion, so it's a challenge putting it into simple words, but I'd say you did quite well. I would have agreed with Monika. See, even Yuri appreciates you, Natsuki. By the way, isn't Natsuki supposed to be writing a poem for Yuri? I suddenly remember that. Fear isn't something that is meant to be completely understood. The complexity behind what a person fears and why are they afraid of it is almost unfathomable. Your poem is about the fear of the dark, or more specifically, a fear of the unknown. Yes? Yeah? Just, I don't like not knowing what's there. I don't like feeling not safe. My poem is all about how your imagination plays tricks on you when you're in the dark. You know there's no such thing as monsters, but you can never be completely sure. That's what scares me. Uncertainty. I can relate. But as I was saying, it's certainly a feat encapsulating something as complex as fear into 4 simple stanzas. Natsuki smiles proudly. What can I say? I'm good at what I do. Yeah, well done, Natsuki. Sayori, if you say that one more time, I'll... Anyway, moving on. Right, I'm gonna save Yuri for the main event. Quite fitting considering horror is her forte. My old friend. There's a dark and hollow thing that follows close and to me clings. It sticks to me and turns it turn when I spin around and discern. In the dark and in the depth, the faintest shape that it keeps. Oh sorry, that's not depth, that's deep. In the dark and the deep, the faintest shape that it keeps. It goes away when sunlight shines, the sunshine sweet, warm and kind. But does it really? Is it gone? Or does it secretly keep on? Is it really hiding there, staring from beneath the chair, glaring from atop the stairs, nowhere but yet everywhere, in the corner, the gap? I stare in, and it looks back, weighing, weighing, weighing down, draining, draining, draining out. That was very interesting, Sayori. I always enjoy seeing a poet step out of their comfort zone a little bit, especially when it comes to horror. What do you mean? You typically don't write darker poems, correct? Well, Bittersweet is kinda dark, but I guess, yeah. Unless I misinterpreted. No, you're right, Yuri. This was a real change of pace, and it was fun. Well, I'm glad that my suggestion has gone down well then. I figured it would be fitting for the occasion. Don't give her too much praise, Monika. She'll start thinking that she's the next Stephen King. Hey! I'd be a great horror writer. Actually, no. Wait, I wouldn't. I'm not a big, unlike, actually scary stuff. Makes sense. What's this poem about anyway? Ooh, well, it's about whatever you think it's about. Are you trying to sound like Yuri? No, silly. I didn't write it with a specific thing in mind. It can be about whatever you fear the most. Oh, that's great, Sayori. Hiding away always there, never leaving. Even when you think it's all sunshine and rainbows, it truly never goes away. So it can be whatever you think it is. Terrible secret, scary monster, fear of the dark. It could be made up, could it be real, or it could be real. It doesn't just scare you. Maybe whatever it is drains you as well, bit by bit. And what makes it scary is knowing it's always there. Holy crap! Same mood! Oh my goodness! It's safe to say that no one expected that from her. A temporary silence in the room confirms that. Natsuki frowns inevitably, unpleased by what she just heard. Even the cool, calm, collected Monika looks like she's taken a bit back. Yuri, on the other hand, smiles contently, unfazed by the somber expression coming from Sayori's mouth. Oh my goodness. All of these costumes are well done. But their expressions though. That isn't a very Sayori thing to write, but good job for you because I was caught off guard too, Sayori. Wow. Okay, it's not just me who didn't see that coming, right? Laughter fills the classroom. I mean it, Sayori. Your use of metaphors and use of darker thematic imagery was very refreshing to see. Just do me a favor and don't turn into another Yuri, okay? Natsuki. Kidding, kidding. It was great, Sayori. Oh, you guys. Alright, the fitting main event for a horror-themed day. Let's go, Yuri. Ethereal, somber sounds of midnight malice float around a chastised chalice, I'm sorry. Riding otherworldly winds, letters torn from nails pinned. A looming figure takes my hand, leading me through where the sympathy canned. Cumbersome waves ride my shoulders with the serenity of falling boulders. Their words are muffled by the lament. False reassurance fails to dent, the fierce facade of fleeting fear. Tune is lost, no longer here. Cobalt nerves, fractured soul, with the luminescence of coal. Clacking? Clanking? Clacking footsteps from below. Echo, 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 echo. For a moment the room is silent. Oh no, I went too far, didn't I? No, it's kind of the thing we're looking for. Would you like to tell us what were you thinking of when you wrote this? Okay, Yuri takes a deep breath. It's a bit hard to describe, but sometimes there are nights where my mind just seems to be full of noise. Nights where I can hear. She trails off absent-mindedly. Did you caught up with her own poem that much? Hey, Earth to Yuri! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get sidetracked. It's okay, Yuri. Don't feel like you have to rush. Yeah, take your time. Right. Well, as I was saying, I wanted to try and capture the feelings one might have on a bit of a dark night. Wait, aren't all lights oh. You little airhead sunshine. It's a metaphor, Sayori. I think Yuri's trying to talk about when people are going through a difficult time. That's right, Midas. The dead of the night can be very fickle. It can be a peaceful time as the world around us winds down, but sometimes being alone with our thoughts can be terrifying. This poem was an attempt to reclaim some of that darkness. And I think you did a great job with that, Yuri. Yeah, I liked it. You did? Thank you. Alright, you guys, all their poems have been pretty good so far. But just wait till you hear about my poem. An evil grin stretches across my face as I whip out my own poem. If you're this confident, I'll be looking forward to your recitation. Did you put an extra effort into this one, Midas? No, not quite. What's that supposed to mean? It's not a poem that I wrote myself. What do you mean? Midas? Understandably frustrated, but I promise you that it's very appropriate for the occasion. This is a poem that has an urban legend attached to it. Supposedly, if you read it out loud, you'll be cursed so much that something tragic happens to you, maybe even death. Midas, that's so scary. I know, right? It's great. This poem is titled Dominos Hell, written by a poet named Saijo Yaso. And it just so happens that this poem is and it just so happens that this is the poem that I'll be reading to you all at this very moment. Midas! Don't do it! What if something really bad happens to you? Yeah, right. It's called an urban legend for a reason, you know. Emphasis on legend, as in something that's not real. Still, I like to see the data on all the people who've read the poem so far. And statistically speaking, it's likely that something quote-unquote tragic will eventually happen to you anyway. I find that there's always some element of truth behind these stories though. Of course, this truth might not reflect on the literal meaning of the stories and legends. However, there's likely a message behind the legend. That's true. Yeah, I'm not gullible enough to believe any of this stuff though. Alright guys, let's settle down. You can all voice out your thoughts after I read. Ooh, our handwriting is surprisingly good. Dominos Hell. Elder sister vomits blood, younger sister spit breathing fire, while sweet little Domino just spits up the jewels. All alone does Domino go fall into that hell, a hell of utter darkness, but without even flowers. Is Domino's big sister the one who whips him? The purpose of the scourging hangs dark in his mind. I was a bit confused. Is that an L or an H? Lashing and thrashing him. But never quite shattering. One sure path to Avicii. The eternal hell. Into the blackest of hells. Guide him now, I pray. To the golden sheep. To the nightingale. How much did he put in that letter pouch to prepare for this trek to the eternal hell? Spring is coming to the valley, to the wood, to the spiraling chasms of the blackest hell. The nightingale in her cage, the sheep aboard the wagon, and tears well up in the eyes of sweet little Domino. Sing, O nightingale. I'm not really sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but in the vast misty forest, he screams he only misses his little sister. His wailing desperation echoes throughout hell. A fox peony opens its golden petals, down past the 7 mountains and 7 rivers of hell, the solitary journey of sweet little Domino. If in this hell they be found, may they then come to please. Those sharp spikes of punishment from Needle Mountain, not just some empty whim, is fleshed with blood-red pins. They serve as hellish signposts for sweet little Domino. Not sure if it's just me overthinking it, but I feel a strange chill running down my... yikes. Midas! That was seriously too scary! It was alright. I should probably downplay it, at least for Sayori's sake. I have to agree with Sayori. It had a very creepy old-fashioned feel to it. Even I'm having goosebumps. After hearing that, I wouldn't doubt that something bad looms in your future. Monika! Personally, I found the poem quite beautiful. Of course, it's certainly eerie, but there's a lot of symbols and metaphors that I could pick out just from hearing that one reading. I think I'll have to look into this poem more into my free time. Psh, you guys think that was scary? It was pretty meh in my opinion. The poet was clearly trying too hard to be edgy and smart. If I may respectfully disagree, the tone and word choice of the poem matches its content. It's not written in the way that's simply to be edgy. After all, if I understood it correctly, Domino was banished to hell for murdering his own parents. How'd you get that out of the poem? Well, it mentions that Domino is on the way to Avicii, the lowest of hells in Buddhism, and killing one's parents is one way you get sent there. Oh, well, whatever. I still don't like it. Well, you guys can agree or disagree. But whether you like the poem or not, you have to agree that it was, and the legend attached to it, are pretty interesting, right? I mean, I guess. Midas, I'm going to have to keep a good eye on you from now on, just in case the legend comes true. Sayori, there's probably a bigger chance that something bad will happen to you first, given how clumsy you are. Hey! You all share a laugh, with Sayori joining in after a moment of pouting. Guys, this has been so enjoyable! It's fun to scare your friends with silly pranks, and dressing up is also a lot of fun. Although, I didn't really like horror that much. I'm just so scared to think what could be out there. Uh, Stop being such a chicken, Sayori. Hey, you're the one who got scared by Monika earlier. The girls all laugh at my expense as I let out a groan. We had it coming to us. She's never gonna let me live this down. Touché. Anyway, it's ghost story time, right? I don't really know how many ghost stories, to be honest. Sorry, but I looked on the internet to find some. Most were super long. Like this one's about a... what is it? Some kind of sleep experiment? Sayori, you're rambling. Oops. Sorry, I'm new to telling scary stories. I'm curious though, guys. What sights or sounds scare you? I'll be honest with you. Silence scares me, especially after I've read the gripping horror story. Pretty simple for Yuri, well, silence is scary itself, like when it's silent, your imagination just fills out the gaps. Is it just me who finds reverse music really creepy? Actually, I agree. Add glitching music. My piano teacher showed me a few reversed pieces once. It felt wrong to listen to, especially when yes. It's so creepy to hear reversed vocals sometimes. You start hearing things that aren't there. I don't know. Come on, Natsuki, there has to be something that creeps you out. You'll just laugh. We won't. She's right, Natsuki. We've all shared. What is it? Natsuki averts her eyes, talking to the floor. The noises that children's toys make. Actually, I can kind of agree. It's like when I'm home alone and I think of like a Jack-in-the-Box playing by itself. It'll keep you guys out too. Nah, I'm with you. I've always found anything to do with children, especially in the dark. The sound of babies crying, for example. Normally it's annoying, but if I heard it in the dark and there was nobody else around... Well, it's fitting that you mentioned that, Midas. Don't you remember the argument we had on Halloween back when we were like 10? No. Sayori, where is this going? We were both on our way to a Halloween party. It was pretty quiet out, so you could hear everything. I heard the sound of a... oh no. I heard the sound of a baby crying, but it wasn't coming from inside anyone's house or anything. There weren't too many people on the streets either, and it definitely wasn't one of them. It was coming down from a dark alleyway. A chill runs down my spine as I remember exactly what incident she's talking about. I remember I wanted to go out and investigate. I was scared it was a toddler in danger, but you didn't let me. You were too chicken to... Hey. Okay, we were just in a rush. But anyway, pretty creepy, right? I guess I can kinda see what you mean about babies crying being creepy. I was a bit scared myself. Looking back, I am glad you convinced me not to go. Guess being a wimp has its perks, huh? Yuri and Natsuki all laugh. Why is Monika not laughing? Monika, however, looks like she's been slapped in the face. Guys, do you not realize how lucky you were? Oh. Oh god, you guys have no idea. Oh no. Sayori, did anything seem a bit off about that baby's cry? What are you up to, Monika? Sayori scrunches up her face in an attempt to recall. No, not really. Well, it did sound a bit repetitive, though. Like the cries didn't change much. Monika's voice shakes as she replies. Guys, that's what serial killers do, to lure out young women. I can't help but... Huh? Why are we laughing in this situation? What? Pretend to be babies? Come on, Monika. You had me going for a second there, but you kinda ruined the punchline. She looks me straight into the eyes. No, Midas. They record a clip of a baby crying, and hide the speaker in a dark place. They prey on women's maternal instincts because they know they're attracted to the sounds of infants in distress. Serves you right, dude. Why are we laughing in this situation? I mean, I was kinda expecting like there was some sort of like creepy story Monika recalled, but this is even creepier. The laughter dies on my lips as a cold, sickening silence takes its place. Oh my god. That's why the cries didn't sound natural. We just recorded a small segment and replayed it over and over. It all makes sense now. The natural cries in the dark alleyway. A meticulous, calculated effort to ensnare an unsuspecting victim. Wait, hang on. Didn't Miss Kasumi go miss? Oh no! Miss Kasumi used to teach Sayori and I. Oh. What happened to her exactly? Sayori shrugs. We were told she moved away suddenly to work in a different part of the country, right? People used to spread really scary, horrible rumors about what happened to her. But they didn't really make sense. Hang on. She had a child of her own that year, didn't she? Oh god, she did! And my parents wouldn't really discuss her whenever I asked. They were super dismissive of the whole thing. I always wondered why. Oh my goodness. Wait, you guys actually— oh my god! Monika's visibly frustrated and I'm visibly frustrated. What do you mean? Wait, you guys actually believe that? Everybody looks at Natsuki shocked. Oh come on! There is no way you guys almost walked into that trap. Besides, that's just an urban legend. What happened to their teacher then? She just disappeared and the Midas' parents refused to talk about it? I don't know about you, but that just seems pretty convenient for this story. Well, maybe some things are better left off unanswered, huh? Although I do hope Sayori and I are just misremembering. Well, on that cheerful note, how about we move on to the next story? I'd like to nominate Not Spoopy. My story? Natsuki, do you not have one? Hey, I never said that. I actually kind of regret not saying Not Spoopy earlier. I do, but it's just, I got it off the internet. I don't like horror. But if it's bad, it's not my fault, okay? Natsuki clears her throat. Anyway, it's about these two friends named I and Nariko. Basically, there was a rumor around their high school about people going in and out abandoned house on the outskirts of town. Most people thought they were just drug dealers, but some swore by the fact that the house was being used by a cult of some sort. This is kind of something Yuri would say. I and Nariko were pretty outgoing and adventurous, so they decided one night to check the place out. They got into the house and it's pitch black out. Luckily, I had brought flashlights for the two of them. Nariko on the other hand brought a knife with her just in case they ran into any trouble. They go inside and the place reeks. We're talking Midas' room levels of stink. Have you ever been into my house? Hey! Everybody bursts out laughing. Is that really necessary? Sorry, I had to. Anyway. They look around for a bit. And they find the door to the basement, the stairs to the second floor, things like that. Finally, they got into the kitchen. They go into the kitchen and find the source of the smell. There's some weed on the table and it looks like it's been recently used. This confirms Ari's suspicions that it's just a drug dealer and she wants to leave. Nariko on the other hand still wants to snoop around for a bit. They got into an argument with each other, with Nariko calling Ari a coward because she thinks Ari wants to leave because she's afraid of all the rumors. Then Nariko goes, yeah, well if you're not afraid, then go down into the basement. Ari gladly accepts and walks over to the basement door. As soon as she opens it, she feels a sharp pain in her back, and before she can react, she gets pushed down. Oh, who pushed her? She tumbles down the stairs and once she hits the bottom, she realizes she can't feel her legs. Her vision is blurred, but she can barely make out a figure standing at the top of the stairs with a knife. Who pushed her? The last thing I hear is before she passes out is Narco's footsteps as she descends down the stairwell, and an old grizzled voice say, "This one will do nicely." The very next day, Ariko and I called in sick. It's kind of a shame, really, because they miss out on all the talk about how someone heard strange animal-like growls coming from an old abandoned house in the Oh no. Hope you liked it or whatever. What happened to Narco and I in the end? They didn't die, did they? Use your imagination. Nice story, not spooky. Cults usually provide good fodder for horror stories. Indeed, I've read quite a few novels involving cults. Doesn't Portrait of Markov involve something like that? Something similar, yes. Speaking of Yuri and horror stories, how about you go next, Yuri? Here we are in the main event. It's the most horror-ish thing we could ask for. Me? Alright then. Give it your best shot. She is going to make us very, very pale after this. You're walking alone, one pale autumnal night. The moon is graceful, casting her light down below like snowdrops. As you continue down your path, something shambles behind you. You turn around to look for what it might be, but all you see is a cluster of leaves rustled by the pale air. Slowly returning, you notice the lights in every house around you going out and flickering before fully extinguishing. With tentative steps, you advance toward one of them to investigate. Just as you are about to reach the window, you hear something snapping behind you. A broken twig is all that remains. Uncertainty, oh my goodness, uncertainty floating around inside your head. You unconsciously start walking faster, away from the suburbs. Eventually you find solace in silence, the only sound being your heartbeat. It's quiet. Nothing bad seems to be happening now. In fact, nothing at all seems to be happening. Oh no, she has the crazy eyes. Oh no. Confused, you look around and see that you're in front of your house in the street. No one is steering, nor are there any lights. Gently pacing towards your house, you go through the door. The lights are on, the television's on, but no one is in sight. This is unusual. You were expecting your parents to be home tonight. Had they gone out without telling you? No, that couldn't be it. They always let you know where they'll be. You pull out your phone and open up your contacts to give them a call. However, no one is registered in there anymore. No matter how hard you try to remember, you can't call out to them. Suddenly, there's a heavy knock on the door. You peer out through the keyhole, but see no one. Another knock. Another. Oh no! Oh no! She has the crazy eyes. And another. You cautiously open the door. Man, the fact that they're using those creepy-eyed sprites of Yuri, I like it. You cautiously open the door, but there's still no one there. No one anywhere. How did this happen? Why are you alone? In the piercing silence. Silence so loud it fills the air. You don't know, and there isn't any way for you to find out. That's it? What a dumb story. Nothing even happened. We were the scary monsters and stuff. There is no greater fear than the unknown, Natsuki. Didn't you wrote that for your poem? Sharp claws can be prepared for, and enigmatic silence cannot. What's more fearful? Something you know is coming for you, or feeling safe when you know you aren't? Quite a somber note to end your story on, Yuri. We can always count on you for a good horror tale, huh? Oh, okay. Let's go, Monika. Although, a scary story. Now that I think about it, I don't think I've come up with a ghost story before. I haven't read too many horror stories either. Well, I guess that isn't a surprise. Just make up one then, it'll be fun. Well, I can't say I've tried that before. Wait, I got creeped out with Yuri. Are they gonna give Monika crazy-eyed frights? That'll be fitting. Are you trying to get out of telling a story? Of course not. But now that I think about it, there is one I've heard of. Monika's expression turns serious. The mood in the room turns serious. She uses the same intensity she did for when she read her poems, and when everyone quiets down. A number of years ago, Tarabara had come along, as it does every year. Is that the right pronunciation, Tarabara? It's the story of a lost little girl. Where am I? She cried. She cried and cried, hoping desperately she could find someone to help her. But the little girl was alone. Nobody could hear her. But just as hope seemed lost, she heard a voice. Isn't that voice wonderful? Or isn't that night wonderful? The girl looked up. Where before her was nobody, a snowman in an elegant yukata. He wore what looked like a no mask, but it was completely blank. Behind the man stood a stall, masks and lanterns of all sorts hanging from it. How rude of me, the man admonished himself. Welcome, dear customer. Your heart seems unhappy. Why not take a look at my wires? The man said as he gestured the mask behind him. Please, take one, and it will bring a smile to your face. The girl looked at the masks. There were ones that looked frightening, ones that looked strange, ones that looked exotic, and many others. What about your mask, mister? The girl asked. I'm sorry, but this mask is very special. It's not for sale. The girl looked sad. I like that mask, it looks really cool. The man laughed softly. It has been called many things, but this is perhaps the first time it's been called cool. Would you like a fruit? The man asked, picking one from the tree behind him. They're sweet and delicious. The girl reached out to take it, but the man pulls his hand back. Ah, they're not for children. The girl was confused. But just tonight, it should be fine, he said as he offered his hand once again. The festival of the night. Children can become adults, and adults can become children. Isn't that true? Is that true? Asked the girl. The man reassures her it was. The girl took the fruit and bit into it. It was unlike anything she had tasted before. It was almost overwhelming, but the flavor was wonderful. It's good, the girl said happily. The man laughed again. I'm glad you think so. There's plenty, so please eat all you like. As she ate, the man took down a mask. What about this one? The girl took the mask. It looks like me, but she looks like a princess, the girl said in awe. Do you like it? Please take it. But what about the money? Asked the girl. I don't need money. Instead, I would like to be friends. Is that okay? Of course, the girl agreed. From now on, we're friends. I'm glad, the man said with gratitude. Why not put on your mask? The girl did so. She was overcome with a strange feeling. Why is it, she asked. At last, long I have dreamt of this moment. My dear Eve, my only friend. The man smiled beneath his mask as he spoke as the light of the stars began to fade. For it is the festival of the night, where children can become adults, and adults can become children. Let it be known. Another unconventional horror story, I see. Oh wait, that's the end. Sorry. I got goosebumps though. Yup. I guess monsterless horror stories are more popular than you'd think. I rather like the mysterious tone myself. It's very reminiscent of a style of Asian horror stories. You guys have a weird sense of what's scary. I mean, this story isn't necessarily meant to scare you to death. Spirits don't have to be frightening, you know? That's true. But it is Halloween. Aren't things supposed to be scary today? But Halloween is fun too, not just scary. Alright, you guys, pick it up. Let's just all agree to disagree again. Monika smiles gratefully at me, while Natsuki shoots me a disgruntled look. Anyway, guess it's my turn to tell a story. So this is something that actually happened to a friend of mine. Oh, really? Are we talking about Sayori here? Yes, really. So this happened to Sayori then? Huh? This story is about me? Is that true, Midas? What? No. No, it's not. Let's just get on with the story, shall we? Why are you frustrated, Monika? Right. Anyway. So this friend of mine lived alone in an apartment building. He lived in a downtown area and loved to party all night. And one night, he was out as usual. However, when he stumbled back home, in the early hours of the morning, he realized that he'd lost his keys and was locked out of his apartment. So he ended up having to call his landlord, who was pissed at having to wake up in the middle of the night to let him in. But in the end, he was unable to get home safely, so that's all that matters, right? I can certainly relate to that comforting feeling. Right, but when he got inside, he noticed that his keys were actually on his nightstand. So he didn't lose them after all. They were an extra set that his landlord lent him. Nope, he was able to recognize them by the keychain he attached to it. So that's it. Pretty much, yeah. What's so scary about that? Guess you haven't realized it yet. What do you mean? The apartment was locked when he got back, right? Yeah, I got that part. But his keys were still in the apartment. So how are you supposed to lock... How do you suppose he locked them in? Huh? Someone must have gotten into his apartment and placed them inside. They locked the door themselves from the inside. And the only sets of keys were my friend's and his landlord, so... Whoever it was who brought his keys back was still in the apartment when he got home. Nah, but who was it then? He never found out. Ah, you're going to make me permanently paranoid. That was quite an enjoyable story, Midas. Although it was short, the realization in the end definitely made up for that. Plus, the story calls the real fears of things that Plus, the story calls on the real fears of things like squatters, stalkers, and killers. Who knows? Maybe one of us has a squatter living in their own home, hidden away, never to be found. Stop right there! I don't want to think about it! Okay, the story wasn't half bad. Glad you all enjoyed it.